I'm pressing button. Button no work. Button not like me. Button. Oh, button. Annapurna Interactive. A game by Giant Sparrow. This is my Sanity Sunday. Where am I? Oh. Anyways, hey what's up my lovely people, welcome back to another video. Today we're back with, I almost said Superliminal. We beat that, that's done. Jesus. We're back with, What Remains of Edith Finch. I'm letting the textures load in. I don't know where we left off. But this is where I'm leaving off. I don't remember, I know we... Hello? Why is there an echo in my room? I swear to God, I'm hearing ringing when I talk. Okay, it stopped. But, wherever we left off, we definitely saw this. This is when the guy fell off the fucking cliff with the deer. I played through this from where we left off on our original save, and it worked until I forgot to download it, so I had to replay the whole game, and I'm leaving off where this is just right after where he falls off the cliff with the deer. So, we're gonna continue from here, and I'm just gonna hope everything goes well, and I didn't miss too much. So, yeah.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Can I open this door? No. Lovely. Lovely jubbly.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Oh, look at the baby.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
The dog follows. Did I have a weenus? I didn't really see.
Time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
No, I don't think I
Whatever
had
it
it.
was he saw. It sure made him happy.
Hell yeah, it did. Look the whale. Yeah. His head. Can. Oh, the water. Oh, wait, hold on. There's soap.
I know how silly it sounds. That I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it.
I wish he could have told us
Hold on, I don't want this to be okay?
about the world he saw.
Did he drown?
Hey, there's so much I
Assuming he
don't
did.
understand about Gregory. About everything.
Number one, who leaves their baby unattended in a bathtub? Like, I understand that you drained the water, but realistically.
But I know what happened. wasn't
Realistically,
your
you
fault.
don't leave your baby alone in the bathtub. If your baby can't fucking swim, you don't leave your baby in the bathtub.
I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
It's depressing as fuck. That baby still scares the shit out of me.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet. A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
Oh, leaning back in
Our
my
father
chair.
never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
I now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Can I take these, or? What can I do? I don't know. Oh. Look at these letters.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to
Come
come
here.
here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Had what we made? Crudely.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. until we found you. She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Yeah. Kid really had some shit against stepmom.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Oh, a little buggy.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
It's cute.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure
Shut
Edie
up,
was
Mama.
happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Climbing on in. How do I check this book? It just froze. I tried to open the book and now it glitched and now I have to reset because it's not working. Hold on. My internet is not having it today. Come on, homie. What? 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 It's Homer Muleman. He's bitching because I won't let him up on the chair. Okay, we're here. I mean, the graphics aren't gonna be too great, but it was that. Did it fucking freeze again? I was trying to check who's in the book. Oh, okay, we're good. It's a little laggy. So, we're only missing like 4 people. We are only missing like 4 people. 5 people, maybe. I remember this.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
In a flip book, in a flip book.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
The house is awesome. It's
Mom
crazy, but
spent
it's
months
awesome.
searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Uh-huh. I feel like I was supposed to go back the other way. This game has a habit of having a very large map to explore, but only so much is unlocked at once. Or like, it only allows you to see so much. Like these stairs, I didn't see.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but
Yeah.
I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
No, what the fuck are you doing? I keep thinking, I think I said that when I put this
Lewis's
before.
room
Was that a
smelled
bomb?
very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found
I'm gonna be
something
quiet
new.
because it's a lot, this one.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
These are all places.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg,
Yes,
he heard
pretty
rumors of a
friend. He liked
beautiful prince. The prince was on his own quest for
Or gay. Radiant rainbows.
radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of his electric sitar.
Yeah.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Shut up, Homer. Shut up. So this is his imagination version of himself.
He began to forget the world we know.
Maybe that was a bong in his room. Maybe that's what the smell they were talking about was.
I think it pained him to remember Louis. the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Not even touching anything. Oh, it might be because he's so deep in thought.
I still thought I could save him.
And he just, like, stopped.
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him. His prince waited, holding his crown.
I believe. The crown was the guillotine.
There was only one thing left to do.
I wonder if he killed himself by sticking his fucking face in that thing that pops the fish heads.
Bend
I
down
feel like-
his head.
I feel like that's what happened.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Weed and video games. It's fun. This is the bong. Fucking knew it. Called it.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
I didn't want to go in. I wanted to go out. Well, I wanted to go here originally.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another.
Edie,
All
Edie
that's left
told us?
now was to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine!
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone.
Oh, that's fucking sad.
The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Is that a vagina? Is that crawling through a vagina?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Wait, I'm the kid. What the fuck happened to Edith? Shirley Dallas. It's a true story? Hold on. This feels very... Inspired by Dallas's memories growing up in Washington State. Hold on, I'm gonna... Okay, I'm gonna read something on how all the Finches died. Because there's... something on here. Hold on. Oh, the ending is explained. Hold on. Okay. The story of the giant sparrow. Da, 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 da. Well, fucking, I'm just gonna read what I got, but it was basically, hold on. Oh my god. Edith Finch died from complication as she gave birth to her son, Christopher Milton. Oh, there's a list of deaths. Holy fucking shit. That's sad. That's horrible. She was 18. Okay. There's a bunch of things here. Ingborn Finch died during childbirth. Jonan Finch died during childbirth. Odin Finch, while attempting to sail his house across the ocean, he ended up sinking. Sven Finch fell to his death after the slide he was building collapsed. Molly Finch presumably died from food poisoning for consuming multiple unedibles after being sent to bed without food. Calvin Finch fell off a cliff when he was swinging. Barbara Finch presumably tripped on her roller skater, murdered by her boyfriend. Walter Finch hit by a train after walking out on the tracks. Gregory Finch drowned in a bathtub due to parental neglect. Gus Finch either drowned in a storm or crushed by tent equipment. Sam Finch knocked off a cliff when the deer his daughter shot turned out to be still alive. Sanjay died in an earthquake. Lewis implied to have accidentally decapitated himself with the fish dehydrator, like I said. Edith Finch, they said, presumably died from old age or suicide, but it said that she had birth complications. Dawn Finch died from unknown illness. Edith Finch died from complications. Gave birth. Yeah, gave birth. Oh, Edie. Oh, the grandmother presumably died from old age or suicide. Edith Finch died from complications as she gave birth to her son Christopher. Milton Finch, the king, indicated to have died by the quote, "None of this will last for long. He dies in Unfinished Swan, another giant sparrow game." Looking at the Unfinished Swan. Is Christopher on here? Select Edith to play from the beginning. Replay a story. Oh, the king was one of the... Oh, it was literally all about Milton. Okay, well. Damn. We beat 2 games in a row. That's crazy. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave this episode off here. If you liked it, well, once again, it's not an episode, it's... Game's over. Well, I'm gonna leave this game off here. If you guys liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you really like this video, please hit that bell notification button. Anyways, guys, hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, morning, whenever you watch this video. I'm gonna go cry now, because this fucking game. And as always, peace out, guys.